Hey, it's Molly. Welcome back to my channel as we take a look at the first new moon of 2024, the Capricorn new moon occurring on January 11th at 6:57 a.m. That's Eastern time, so be sure and adjust for your location on the planet. So this new moon is happening at 20 degrees 44 minutes of Capricorn in your chart, where we see the sun and the moon conjunct. We round up to 21 degrees. And there's a few things that I notice here in this chart that I want to begin with. First of all, back in January 2020, we had the Saturn-Pluto conjunction at 22 and 23 degrees of Capricorn. And this new moon is at 21 degrees, really signifying taking a good hard look at what you have been through, how your life has changed, how you have learned more about your power, your intentions, the structure of your life that is essential for the long term. And now, as 2024 begins, what you're ready to initiate and start from a new place of empowerment based on the changes we were required to move through over the past 4 years. So there is a revival energy here, a strong renewal, a sense of really stepping into your commanding presence and to declare what you want to begin in your life, in your energy, in your world as January gets going and as you assess how your world and how you have been impacted over the past 4 years. So as with the Capricorn energy, you take previous experiences and you really apply a good hard look at what you've had to endure and navigate, and then you make the choices and you plan ahead based on that reality, based on what you want to accomplish and move into next. So there is a bit here of not only looking in the forward window, but also being aware of what the past 4 years have permanently changed within you so that you can make some very clear intentions with that knowingness and with the sense of practically applying what you want during this year and this cycle. And that's because the Capricorn energy is about time. The timing in your life, the time in a day, how you spend your time, how you invest your time, how long something takes to be complete or to develop it, produce it, etc. So there's a strong element here of really understanding this is what matters to me now. This is what I want to begin as 2024 gets underway. Now, the second thing that stands out to me in this chart, which is actually quite beautiful and rare, is that every planet is in a conversation with another planet. All these planets are connected through some form of main aspect. They are either in trines, sextiles, or squares. They are also interacting in a way that brings up more energies that you could be feeling and sensing. And so even though this is a new moon in Capricorn at 21 degrees, there could be something that you're feeling strongly in the Sagittarius areas of your chart. Perhaps you're also feeling a lot in the Pisces areas, Aries, or Taurus. So all these planets are in a conversation and communicating with one another. No one is left out. And that means a lot more energy is activated, it's underway, and it could feel like, wow, there's a lot going on here as we move into January. So with the sun and the moon conjunct at 20 degrees 44 minutes, we can see that they are both making a trine to this Uranus at 19 degrees of Taurus, and they are approaching a sextile to Neptune at 25 degrees of Pisces. And so with this trine to Uranus retrograde. Uranus will station direct later in January 26th, and will not return to 19 degrees of Taurus again in its current journey. So there could be something that you're radically transforming. You're really ready for something to shift that maybe you've been pondering, sitting with. You haven't had time or space for it. It's been too much. It's been overwhelming. Well, this Capricorn new moon is where you can make those clear changes. And because these are in earth signs, they affect your physical reality. This could certainly be that new exercise or lifestyle habit you want to begin, you want to stick with it. There could definitely be something connected to your professional world, as is the case with Capricorn. Changes, elevations, things you want to try. This Uranus can push you out of a comfort zone. It wants you to be in your authentic frequency, to take a risk. And maybe you're feeling, yes, I'm ready. This is the year. This is where I feel that it's time, and I'm going to take those concrete steps. This could be something around finances, decisions that you've been pondering or putting off. There could be something here that you're ready to really change up. So this is a strong energy. Then as the sun and the moon both move forward, they will interact with this Neptune and Pisces that allows you to just trust it. I don't have to overmanage it, which is Capricorn. I don't have to think I need to wrestle it or be in charge of it. This brings in a sense of I can release my grasp. I'm not going to overwork it. I'm actually going to have some faith here and have some trust in what I'm building, what I'm developing, and knowing that I can't do it all in a day. I can't do it all in a day. And Capricorn will help you stay the course and see the long-term potentials, results, and outcome. And could also give you some things that have been sitting in your subconscious that come to light. Now, when you look at this chart, no, I would not consider this new moon conjunct Pluto, because Pluto has a very tight orb of 2, maybe 3 degrees. That's because of how slowly Pluto moves. But the sun and the moon are coming up behind Pluto. So it's like seeing behind the curtain, seeing behind the energy and sensing a transformation that's underway, sensing that, okay, there's something I'm approaching here, and I want to have room in my energy to handle it, to take it on, and to be aware of it. And then we're going to have the sun conjunct Pluto and move into Aquarius on the same day. And that happens January 20, 21, 22. I have separate videos for you here on YouTube describing that energy. It's a very important energy. With the sun conjunct Pluto at 29 degrees, and then they both move into Aquarius, is a huge turning of energies. And the sun being the brightest light in our solar system, the sun is already undergoing this massive Pluto change by the recent new huge coronal hole that has opened up on the sun. It's 60 times the size of Earth. And it opens up the potentials for very big solar winds, very big geomagnetic storms, a lot of energy from the sun coming towards Earth's atmosphere. And we can correlate it with the sun working with Pluto. So the sun is transforming, being transformed by Pluto. And these energies are going to really be picking up into 2024. So that's just a heads up here on some of the bigger overarching energies that we're seeing approach and also amp up as 2024 gets underway. So the other energy here in Capricorn is Mars. Mars is now in Capricorn, and in this chart, you can see how Mars is making a great connection to Jupiter at 5 degrees of Taurus and Saturn at 4 degrees of Pisces. And with that Mars being the personal planet, something's going to stick. You could really stay the course here on what you're ready to begin, on what you're ready to initiate. That Capricorn energy is a cardinal sign, cardinal earth. What you're really ready to move towards, the calculated risks could pay off, and there could be a sense of, I'm going to make this happen. I'm going to stick with it. This is what I truly want, and I'm going to see it through. This is a very strong Mars. And we also have this Mars not only sextiling Saturn and Saturn sextiling Jupiter. So that puts this Saturn at the apex here between Jupiter and Mars, and Saturn is the ruler of the Capricorn new moon. So this Saturn has learned and is learning what is no longer needed or essential, what's no longer a priority. And you could feel too like that was big for you in 2023 as things fell away and ended in the early degrees of Pisces in your chart, as this Saturn moved from 0 to 7 degrees of Pisces in 2023, now is coming back, covering that territory, has opened up space, and is asking you to consciously be aware of what you want to fill in the void. Are there more things you need to release? You know, what karmic endings did you move through? And you really learned, you like really learned some lessons. You really learned what needs to be healed. You really learned, I don't want that in my life. I don't want that to be a part of my reality. Well, now this Capricorn new moon is going to give you some new powerful energy that helps you build what you want as part of your next level dreams. And see how it's working with this Jupiter in Taurus, which is the builder, where you've had to really assess some things and understand what you were taking on that was too much, overwhelming, where you overspent, where you overgave. Jupiter in Taurus is consumerism. There could be some new financial habits that you're committing to. This could be something like I'm willing to pay off some of my debt here in 2024. I want to sacrifice what I don't need because I know that for the long term it's going to be worth it. So there's some kind of bigger picture initiative that is showing up with this Capricorn new moon. And this Mars is giving you that forward motion to stick with it, to take it on, to handle it, and is being supported by that Jupiter and Saturn. So there's something here that could really be a part of a next chapter in your life. You're committing. And that is part of this strong Capricorn lineup here is the commitments that you're making based on whatever house or houses you have this Capricorn energy in. And so you could be making new commitments to yourself around what you now know you're worthy of. Because you did the karmic thing, you cleared out those lesser frequencies or those older patterns that there were no shortcuts with that. And now there's something that you're moving forward and building or developing, and simply a new commitment to yourself of like, this is how I value my life and my time on this planet. I value my gifts and my creativity. Both these energies here of Jupiter in Taurus and Saturn in Pisces are wanting you to be receptive to your own creative intuition and where you're feeling that energy move you forward. So that could be a strong intention that you set with this Capricorn new moon. We also have this Mercury. Now direct, station direct, January 1st, January 2nd, still in the shadow territory, and is making a third square to Neptune in Pisces there. And this is where the overthinking has been draining, almost like there's a lot of possibilities. I don't know. I don't know what to choose. I'm just going to never mind. There could be a sense of I just have to disassociate from something. Disassociate and not give it too much of my mental energy because it's not quite clear. But this Mercury is actually conjunct the galactic center here at 27 degrees of Sag. And there's something that's been trying to get through to you. There's a bigger message that's been coming through during the Mercury retrograde energies because Mercury passed over this point here 3 times, knocking at your door, sending you 3 text messages, trying to deliver something. And even though this Mercury is still in a square to Neptune, I think that as this Mercury finishes up in Sag and moves into Capricorn, you're gonna be like, oh my gosh, that was so clear. That was so evident. It was almost like you finally opened the door and there's the package sitting on the front step, or there's the letter coming through. So there could be something that you just weren't seeing. And after this new moon, keep in mind, we're gonna have a lot of energies here in Capricorn, as we'll have Mercury move into Capricorn, Mars, the Sun, and Pluto. And this is where you're ready to make something more real in your life on a bigger scale. So again, this Mercury during the retrograde energies and as it passes over the galactic center has been receiving some downloads. So check your spam. Check your junk folder. That's where they've been hiding. They've been hiding. Neptune has been hiding those messages. So after this new moon, there could be something that you're like, oh, there it is. Got it. And I'm ready to take it into a new territory, into the earth energies that will assess the practical application of the idea. Now, this Venus at 15 degrees of Sag is trining Chiron here. And this is a really healing, lovely, energizing connection. And this is a Venus who wants to be open to the world, but open to herself. I feel this as a heart opening as it connects to the energy of Chiron in Aries, opening to loving yourself, accepting yourself, opening to more of what you need that validates what you've been healing. And I feel too like this Venus, she loves to bring gifts. She loves to be adaptable to your love language. She loves to have fun. She wants to go on a fun adventure. She could even be too scattered or take on too much in Sagittarius. She has something planned for every month of the year, but she's feeling optimistic. She's feeling optimistic here. She's approaching an exact trine as well to that North Node in Aries. And that's where there's something you have your eye on, something you want. You're like, should I do it? Should I not do it? And there's something forming here that is asking you to have new courage in yourself. New courage in yourself. Now, this Chiron is now direct. Chiron station direct, December 26th. And now that it's direct, is moving towards that North Node. And they will be exactly conjunct at 16 degrees in February. So there's something forming here. And I feel like this Venus in Sag has the inspiration. She's giving you something motivating, exciting, adventurous, interesting. She's giving it to your healed self that supports a new start, a new chapter. Let's go for it. Let's do the thing. So this could be very uplifting energy, especially if you have strong fire sign energies in the middle degrees there, in the middle degrees of Aries, of Leo, of Sagittarius. This is where you could be feeling a rising energy of a new start that you have been courageously forming. And I also feel like what's important is that ever since this Chiron stationed direct and is moving towards this exact conjunction with the North Node, you might realize that parts of yourself have been exfoliated and you're like, that's not who I am anymore. I'm not that version of myself anymore, whatever that means for you, whatever the healing was, whatever the crisis was, the trauma, the thing that was so triggering and so hurtful or whatever it was, you're like, yeah, that's not who I am anymore. And I feel it and I know it, and it's a gut level knowingness. Aries is also your blood. So it's like feeling like you have fresh blood, fresh adventure with that Venus, fresh desires. So there is a freshness here. Now, this energy is squaring the sun and the moon at 21 degrees of Capricorn. And so the square, see, Capricorn wants you to be responsible. He's looking out for you. It's the part of your energy that's the mentor that's like, okay, let's go slow. Let's go slow and assess this. And Aries is like, slow? That's a 4-letter word. I don't even know how to spell slow. Aries wants to just go for it. And so here you have a part of you that's ready for the new adventure, the new start. But there is wisdom in the Capricorn stop and assess. Look at the details. Review the terms and conditions. Look at, what are you agreeing to? And is this on path? And because this energy is squaring the North Node, which means it's also squaring the South Node, there's something where you could have a change of direction. And I feel too that because the Saturn energy is strong here and the Capricorn energy is strong, you are meant to have some kind of change of direction based on what you've matured through, your own responsibility. It's not the impulsive insecurity of Aries, because Aries can be very short-sighted. Like, I'm going to do this on Tuesday, and you're like not even thinking of the weekend. And here is Capricorn thinking of the whole calendar year ahead. So you are meant to slow down. Because if you don't honor this Capricorn wisdom and honor the Capricorn timeline, you could get a boo-boo here with that Chiron for moving too fast. So it's interesting because, there's a part of you that is rising up with the fire sign energy, and that Venus wants you to feel good about the new parts of yourself that you're connecting to and understanding. But there's Capricorn wisdom we're meant to honor this time of year. And so maybe you do have to backburner something. Okay, let me check in on that once we move into Aquarius season. That could be a good way to approach whatever you're sensing with the Aries energy, as well as with this Venus in Sag trining the Aries energies. The other thing I want to mention about this Venus is that she's currently in this very rare mutual reception with Jupiter in Taurus. And what that means is that they're in each other's rulership. So Jupiter in Taurus, Taurus is ruled by Venus. Venus is in Sag, Sag is ruled by Jupiter. So they're in this interesting conversation and they don't really have much in common. They have very different intentions, ways of going about things, but I feel like there's something important here, that this Jupiter in Taurus has been reformulating and learning in a new way that's grounding you. And this energy is stronger. Jupiter is stronger, is the biggest planet in our solar system. Jupiter is bringing your attention to your self-worth, your self-value, how much importance you've placed on yourself. And I feel like these are the frequencies that are interacting with this Venus in Sag, and she's getting new understanding of what she can create and move to, because she has this, it's like new roots, new grounding, new roots in the soil. of what she's building based on her own creative powers and what she wants to manifest. So this is foundational. This is foundational self-worth. And it can feel really supportive and exciting. With that Jupiter energy there, Jupiter brings in a sense of spiritual protection. And there could be something where you're like, I know I can create this in my life. I know I'm worthy of this. I know this is possible for me in my reality. And then here we have Venus in Sag, and she's out there exploring the possibility. She's having fun with it. What if I go in this direction? What if I get on the train? What if I get on the plane? What if I take a Vespa? What do I want to do with this energy? Where do I want to go? Where do I want to understand myself more? So it's the adventurous spirit that can really take off and prosper. A lot of wisdom as well about what Jupiter's been teaching you, where there's been a lack of self-worth, a lack of self-love. Like how was I over giving in order to feel stable? How was I overdoing? What was I overdoing? Okay, that's Jupiter. Especially Jupiter goes too big at times. It's too much. You gave too many presents over the holidays. You did not receive equally. What does that mean? What's the lesson? What is being shown to you that now you can see in a new way and change it going forward so that you're not overdoing from a place of needing love or wanting love from others. It can be this very interesting but encouraging self-reflection of, wow, I was really stuck in that pattern. I really was taking on more of my share. And I don't want to do that anymore. I want to be free. And maybe that's something too that's coming into your awareness. And maybe that's something too that this Venus is helping you heal for a new start. You're seeing something that's complete for you that you're not going back to ever again because it's connected with a former version of yourself. And that new version is getting stronger and more courageous, especially as we move into February. And one other thing I'd like to mention is that Pluto is moving into Aquarius January 21st, 22nd, depending on your time zone. Right now, this Pluto is in a wide sextile to Neptune, which has been the case for over a century. But when Pluto moves into Aquarius, then they're out of sync, because then Pluto is very heavily in his head, in his future, in the scientific technology aspects of Aquarius, and is not really syncing up with Neptune. And so there's going to be a shift here as Pluto changes signs, and we'll still be in and out of sign sextile to Neptune, but it isn't going to have this flow between earth and water. This is going to be your intuition and the water elements that we've been mastering through Neptune being strong. And then Pluto moves into the cerebral mental energies of the Aquarius air sign. So there will be a shift there. And this is the last new moon where they're in this interesting connection. Although later in 2024, there's an amazing I mean, extra amazing connection between Pluto, Neptune, and Uranus. It's a minor grand trine. It's quite beautiful, and I talk about it in my 2024 Soul Growth Astrology program that you really should check out so that you know what's coming up here in this year and how it's going to be working with you, especially this minor grand trine, September to November. It's quite phenomenal. It's quite special. It has something around really understanding the bigger picture of what's been changing in our world, how we've been becoming more conscious as energy beings. So I'll put a link below this video because it's really important to look at that in your chart, especially if you have planets or points in late degrees of the earth signs or the water signs. So overall, a really lovely Capricorn new moon that kicks off 2024. This is the new moon to set your intentions. This is better energy than the typical January 1st. And this is where you could really stick with it. You could really stick with something here in a whole new way that you weren't ready for before. And maybe you feel like, yeah, I'm ready. I'm going to take it on. I'm going to move in that direction. So wishing you a beautiful start to 2024. I look forward to connecting with many of you in my online Soul Growth Astrology program. And here we go. A new cycle around the Gregorian calendar begins. Thank you so much for joining me, and I'll be back here soon with another video for you.